321 9321. That's 0171 321 9321.
Just in the last few moments, we've had two names, and it's the same name, come up for the Edinburgh armed robbery. An enormous number of names, and particularly on the Hazelmere indecent assault. That looks very strong indeed. But now, before we close, to treasure. And some of it might be yours. Here are items that have been stolen from all around the country, and here to go through this month's Aladdin's Cave is Eric Knowles.
Well, we're praying for some divine intervention on the cave this evening because we've got quite a quantity of church furniture, including this trunk, which is studded with the date 1657, and it's also initialed EH. But from the 15th century, what about this? It's a sacrament box, and what's more, it's in walnut. But more of that good old British oak in a pair of chairs that we've got here. And look at those covers. Those cushions are actually made from an altar cloth. The question is, did it come from your church? But there again, if you've got a liking for a pair of truly foul paintings, feast your eyes on these farmyard scenes because they're foul in the nicest sense of the word. Hens and chicks and a couple of ducks thrown in for good measure. But if the question is, how much is that doggy on the table? Well, if it's Meissen and it's 18th century and it's a little pug dog, the question is loads of money. And look at the cover, exquisitely painted, and so too is the interior. There again, you may be into bird watching. If that's the case, what about birds in silver? Pair of cranes, translucent enamels in amber and turquoise. There again, maybe you've got a liking for this cavalier-type character, a sort of do-it-yourself, Charles I. But it's that time of the year when the ladies want to put on a bit of glitter, and there must be a very sad lady out there who's missing her diamond and emerald bracelet. And Mr. and Mrs. Coblenza, do you remember staying in room 711? Because I think I've got your cameo brooch. But they do say that diamonds are a girl's best friend, and I think it's quite right when it's applied to this bow brooch. Just look at the stone in the centre. It's enormous. Personally, I'll stick to the odd bow tie. But if you play your cards right tonight, you could end up reclaiming your Dutch marquetry gaming table. Here it is, and what have we got here? Dorset County Arts and Crafts Association member. Well, that should narrow it down a bit, shouldn't you think?
Just a bit. And if there's anything you recognise, well, call in on 01903 231 821. That's 01903 231 821. Or you can call the studio here, of course, 0500 600 600.
Our lines are open here in the studio for over an hour and a half, and we'll be taking calls until midnight. You'll see other numbers on the screen in a moment. They're also listed on CFAX on page 627. Now, if you're online, you can email us at Crimewatch UK at the BBC. That's cwuk@bbc.co.uk. And if you've any information on a crime we haven't covered, try Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. And we'll be back with Crime Watch Update later at 11:45 in England and Northern Ireland and at 12:15 in Wales and Scotland. And we hope that we've more to tell you then. But if you can't stay up that late, do join us next month. We're back on Tuesday, January the 27th.
Meanwhile, you might like to see some figures. Of our 125 cases so far, that's up to tonight, this year, 43 have already had arrests as a direct result of Crime Watch viewers. That's just over a third, and of course it's early days yet. A further 9 cases have made arrests already independently. And incidentally, crime, at least most of it, tends to fall away over Christmas anyway, so don't be put off your celebrations by anything that we've shown tonight. Have a great holiday, a happy new year, and whatever happens, don't have nightmares, sleep well. Good night.
Good night.